I can't look, could you go individual games and conceptualize a better beginning? Maybe like, I wish this game had gone differently. But I don't know. So far in the Mike D'Antoni era, feels pretty good. What would your assessment, 21 games into his first season as your head coach, what would your assessment of how your team is playing under his watch be?
Yeah, I mean, we've had the hardest schedule in the league through our first 21 as well. I mean, we're very happy. Obviously, it's still early, and I think our team's one that will probably, we'll face our share of injury challenges at some point. But through the first 21, this is, ahead of where we wanted to be in position to get home court in the West in the first round. That was our goal coming in. So, we're pretty pleased. The players are. Pretty much most of our players are playing well, playing at career levels, and our young players are stepping up. So, so far, so good. Knocking on wood here.
All right. Look, James Harden came in, and he's in better shape. How much of that is responsible for his red-hot start?
Well, I think it's a lot of things. We came in on a mission. Ryan Anderson and Eric Gordon were two players we added this offseason that fit him very well in terms of style of play, both him and Mike D'Antoni, how he likes to play. We've had young players really step up, Clint Capella, Sam Decker, and Montrezl Harrell, probably the three that have really taken a step forward and given us great minutes so far. It's just a good positive start to the year that's created a really solid environment for guys are having fun, and it's sort of spiraling in a virtuous cycle. Last year we had a bit of a vicious cycle going where losses were creating some bad decisions by myself and just a full spiral down. So this year it's going the other way for us, and we're pretty excited.
I love the idea that you're willing to say, hey, look, like these are just bad decisions, because so oftentimes people in your position are like, well, it didn't work out because this guy got hurt, or I didn't know that. Like, whereas like you're accepting some of the responsibility for things that didn't work out. If you could change, what would be the first thing that you would change about last year in the butterfly effect, that had we not done this, all the rest wouldn't have happened?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to talk too much about last year when we acquired, Ty Lawson, and that's definitely my decision, and that did not work out. I wish him the best, but it just didn't work. And when you give up a decent amount, like we did, a first round pick for a player, when it's not working. Often when it's not working, you can just stop playing the player. But we attempted to continue to try and make it work. That didn't work. I would say that. I would say, if you know everything, at the end of the season, then a coaching change I don't think was the right thing. Probably unfair to our coach last year. So just a whole set of things I would consider on me that were not good. And this year we've got a lot of things going in the right direction with Ryan Anderson coming in playing great, and Mike D'Antoni is such a perfect fit with James Harden and the crew. Jeff Bizdelek, our defensive coach, Clint Capella, like I mentioned, Decker, Harrell, Eric Gordon's having his best year since he was with the Clippers. So I've had a lot of things go right. Some years you just don't. Like, if we knew how everything was going to work out, this show would be a lot easier.
No, I get it, but I mean, like, look, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you're saying, hey, look, I shouldn't have fired Kevin McHale. Is that?
Yeah, I think if you have perfect information, and that we obviously, you don't make a drastic move like that if you don't think it can help turn your season around. I think JB Bickerstaff did an incredible job for us, but we really did not turn our season around to the extent we were hoping. And, I think midseason coaching changes are terrible. They're not really good. It's actually the first one I've ever done in my 15 years in the league. We obviously felt like at the time, and I still feel like at the time, we had with the information we had, it was a decision that I thought was the best thing. But if you know, at the end of the season that we didn't turn things around and we didn't get a lift from the change, I think midseason coaching changes are a mistake almost always.
Daryl Morey, general manager, Houston Rockets, 14-7 on the year, but played a very difficult schedule, as he's pointed out. Join us in the Doug Gottlieb Show, CBS Sports Radio. I agree with you on Anderson. Just one, underrated rebounder, and two, he spaces the floor so well. And then, of course, Eric Gordon, so much better in your system or in D'Antoni's system, playing alongside James Harden, where he doesn't have to create, doesn't shoot as many bad shots. And James Harden can create shots. Then James Harden buying into what you want to do, getting in better shape, and being great in this style of play. But let me give you the two biggest criticisms, which kind of go hand in hand. You'll have people that say, hey, he ain't never going to win a championship with James Harden because he doesn't play defense, and he ain't going to win a championship with Mike D'Antoni because he doesn't coach defense. I know you point out Jeff Bezdelik, but how would you combat the fan narrative, or even some analyst narrative, that those two guys with style and with substance ultimately won't win you big because of the defensive end?
Well, I'll start with the team. I mean, we do need to improve our D. There are signs of that improving. It's gotten better as the season's gone on. Some of our defense, we're a little bit below average right now, is hidden by the fact we played very tough opponents relative to the league. But we want to get our defense, around 10th in the league, hopefully higher. And that's going to take effort. The trend has been good. We think with Clint Capella and, Pat Beverly's back now. We didn't have Pat for about half the season. Trevor's playing at a very high level. We've got defensive players who can play well, and we're trending in a good direction, but we do need to get better. I think one of the reasons, we're excited about our defense is Jeff Bezdelik. Mike is at that point of his career where, he knows his strengths, and his strengths are really great, obviously, and he also knows the areas where having, someone like Jeff is a big advantage. So for the first time, I think he'd say in his career, he's giving the largest percentage of his practice time to defense, and, that was all something that, he wanted to do. I mean, he's evolved over his career, just like I have, just like anyone who's trying to do this at a high level. And, our focus on defense has been high. The criticism of James on defense, I think, is pretty unfair. I do think I think even if he said, hey, I'm not the strongest defender, but I think if you compare him to the high usage, offensive burden superstars, you'll see that he's right there with almost all those players in terms of his defense. And, watches on the ball defense is very, very good. His ability to create turnaround plays is very good. And people don't realize defensive rebounding is a big part of defense. And he shores up a lot of our positions where we don't have as strong defensive rebounders.